All right, and we have Monday today. It's been approximately 5 seconds since I ended yesterday's video for me, and we're getting right into the next one. I'm still thinking about the Amalekites from yesterday's video, but yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see and get some more information about that. But we are moving on today to chapter 18. Jethro visits Moses. So if you remember, Jethro is his father-in-law, Zipporah's father, and he's apparently going to visit Moses out in the, um, wherever they are. And what was it? Rephidim? Is that where they still are? That's where they fought the Amalekites, so maybe that's where they still are. But we'll find out. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian and father-in-law of Moses, heard of everything God had done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. After Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, for Moses said, I have become a foreigner in a foreign land. I think I messed that up the first time too. And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, my father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the wilderness, where he was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent word to him, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. They greeted each other and then went into the tent. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and about all the hardships they had met along the way and how the Lord had saved them. Jethro was delighted to hear about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel in rescuing them from the hand of the Egyptians. He said, Praise be to the Lord, who rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians and of Pharaoh, and who rescued the people from the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all other gods, for he did this to those who had treated Israel arrogantly. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and other sacrifices to God, and Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat a meal with Moses' father-in-law in the presence of God. The next day Moses took his seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stood around him from morning till evening. When his father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he said, What is this you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit as judge, while all these people stand around you from morning till evening? Moses answered him, Because the people come to me to seek God's will. Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me, and I decide between the parties and inform them of God's decrees and instructions. Moses' father-in-law replied, What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God, and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live, and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter, because they will share it with you. If you do this, and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. Then Moses sent his father-in-law on his way, and Jethro returned to his own country. I mean, we're slingshotting back and forth now. We go from, hold up, water coming from a broken rock. Amalekites come to fight them and they lose, the Amalekites lose because Moses is having his hands in the air with his staff. Now we have his father-in-law bringing his wife and 2 sons back to him, and pretty much telling him about a really good legal system, appointing good, capable men who fear God and are trustworthy and hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials so they can handle the lesser cases, but then the really difficult ones they will bring to you. And he helps him design this chain of hierarchy in a way of judges. I mean, it literally says he's judging, so Moses wouldn't have to do it every day from morning till evening, and then that way everybody was satisfied, but nobody had to work all of these cases. Everybody did a few cases. I mean, this is just crazy how we're going from one area of life to another area of life. And then it's cool to hear about. These are all new to me because I mean the movie has ended a while ago. It ends after the Israelites go through the water, and then it jumps to you just see Moses walking down with the Ten Commandments, and we'll get to that later. But all of these stories in between those happening of like when the Israelites are wandering around, you don't hear about in the movie because it doesn't make good Hollywood. But I mean, these are just really cool to hear about for me. We have like a battle going on. We have the water from the rock. What were some of the other ones before that one? It was the manna and quail, right? And then and then the bitter water being made drinkable for the Israelites because he threw a piece of wood in it. So these are just very interesting stories that you don't hear about, and you don't get to see like what God does for them if you just watch a movie. And that's why it's very important to read the Bible, just so that you get the whole picture and not just Hollywood's version of it. Not that the movie wasn't good. Like, it had very good songs. It was, impactful. It was a good movie, but it doesn't have all of the important stuff in it, and it changes a few things. All right. Also, I forgot I had bookmarked this in my head to talk about, is that Jethro finally becomes a full believer, because it says that, verse 11, now I know that the Lord is greater than all other gods. So now he knows, after he hears what God did for Moses and the Israelites to get them out of Egypt. So that made him a full believer. He brings burnt offering and other sacrifices to God, and then they all eat a meal with him in the presence of God. And then it takes over about like the judging, and he helps him find out all that. And then he just leaves, by the way. He's like, hey, thanks for making me a believer in God. Here's how to do your law system the correct way. Bye. And then he leaves. But I'm assuming he was just bringing his, like, Zipporah and his two sons back. He may have sent them away. I forget if they mentioned it during the plagues or before the plagues. I don't remember specifically, but I'm assuming Moses would have sent them away so that they wouldn't be in danger at all. And then Jethro is bringing them back after he hears that everything has happened, because that's literally the very first verse, that Jethro heard of everything God had done for Moses and for his people, and how the Lord brought him out of Israel. So then he brought them out to his camp in the wilderness near the mountain of God. So I think he's kind of returning his wife and sons to him after he sent them to Jethro for safekeeping during the plagues. And then, he's a believer in God now. He helps with the justice system, and he's like, all right, cool. I did what I was supposed to do. Your wife and sons are here, and thank you for making me a believer, and here's how to, go about your day so that you don't have to do all of this, and everybody's still happy. All right, it's just cool story here. I like these stories here between the plagues and the Ten Commandments. But anyway, I know it's Monday. We're finishing off our long weekend, and we go back to work tomorrow. But we can do it. Only 4 days now until the weekend. We only have to work 4 of them. Monday is not a thing. All right. So we'll get through it together. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, and have a good rest of your day.